Plaintiff Patricia Ann St. Peter claims her ex-lover is an abusive criminal who lied to the courts to gain custody of her children. Patricia's suing him for pain and suffering and for money she claims he cheated her out of before disappearing for years. Defendant Jimmy McGinnis claims Patricia ran off and left him for her own sister's fiancé. Jimmy accuses Patricia of being an unfit mother and brought her teenage daughter to testify against her. He's countersuing for a laundry list of items.
Start with you.
Your Honor, first of all, I want to start off by giving you some background information on the relationship between Mr. McGinnis and I. It was very volatile. It was a forced relationship by Mr. McGinnis. He physically assaulted me.
What do you mean forced? Excuse me. No, have a seat.
Your Honor,
have a seat.
She's lying, and she can verify that.
All right, and I'll give you all an opportunity. Okay. But first, I want to hear what she's lying about. All right?
She just is, me being volatile.
All right.
She's the one that beat up her daughter.
She sounds like she got a lot more lies.
She's the one that beat up her son and her daughter.
I understand.
Never.
But let her tell her lies, and then you tell your lies, all right?
Got it.
And then I'll be the ultimate determiner of who's really lying.
That's great.
All right. Now, ma'am.
I had been in an accident, and I had been in a coma for a very long period of time. I woke up and I had... yeah, when we first started going
No,
out.
Your Honor, we...
Quiet. And then what?
I did not remember who he was, and I was set up on a date with him.
How were you forced to go on the first date?
No, I wasn't forced to go on the first date.
Okay. The second one?
Actually, he forced himself.
The second one, did he force you to go out?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Because he came over and my parents...
Came over where?
To my parents' home.
Uh-huh.
And he pressured me into going out on a date with him. If I didn't leave with him, he was going to have a big fit in my parents' home.
Were your parents there?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell them?
Because my father was having heart problems.
It's a
and
lie,
your mother? Why didn't you tell your
lie.
mother?
Because my mother was trying to take care of my father. And
Ma'am, you're not looking very good today. I'm just going to tell you right now,
sorry,
saying that this man forced you to go out with him.
And I apologize
Try
for
again.
it so
How long
ridiculous.
were you all together after this?
We went out off and on for 16 years.
16 years he forced you. You want to address these allegations that you forced her to date you for 16 years?
Oh, sure I do, Your Honor. When I met her, we were about 13 years old.
Checks in there. They're not just...
And she had just got in trouble for making pornos with a girl that was living with him.
She was how old?
I have never
13,
made a
14
porno.
years old when she got in trouble for that.
Is just
No, when you started dating her, how old was she?
When we started dating, she was 19. This is a lady that says that I forced her into a relationship for 16 years, but we have 2 kids together. We lived in the same house that she's claiming that she paid taxes on for 9 years, Your Honor. We went everywhere together, and her mother lived upstairs at my house for about 5 years.
Your Honor, he is making a complete... This whole thing about this relationship between Jim and I. When I lived with him, we never slept in the same bed.
Your Honor,
in the home.
Her daughter's right here. Her daughter slept in the same bed with me and her until she was 6 years old, until she got pregnant with my son, Bo Jordan.
That is not true.
It is true,
Young lady,
Your Honor.
state your name.
I'm Jessica McGinnis.
You're her daughter.
I'm her daughter. This is my stepfather. As far as them not sleeping together in a bed, they slept together in a bed.
That is a lie.
And then
we never shared a room
we quit
together.
sharing that bed whenever she invited Jessica's real dad over where I was gone to work one night, and he popped a hole in the waterbed.
Oh, that never happened. I'm sorry,
Did it or
but
did
after
it
I
not?
broke up with
It did
Jessica's
happen.
dad, I wanted nothing to do
And
with
then
him.
Really?
I subsequently
Hold it,
found
while
out.
you were living with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your
She
Honor,
invited
please.
her ex over?
Yes, Your Honor.
No.
This is not the only time this
No.
happened.
And-
she was taking her
And that
with
was
her.
your real dad?
Your Honor, he's
My
just trying to...
supposable real dad, yes.
And you
She's not
witnessed
sure who
that?
her real dad is.
And you witnessed it?
Yes,
All right.
I witnessed more than that. She cheated on my father a lot.
Your Honor, ever since Jim and I broke up, Jessica wanted to stay in Citrus Heights with her boyfriend. Jessica disappeared, and I put a missing persons report out on her.
Is a lie.
She had no idea that the missing persons
Okay,
report
so you all have
existed.
been estranged, that's what you're saying? You and your
Yes, sir.
daughter?
She
That's why she's
forged my
making up these
signature.
stories about you sleeping with her
Absolutely.
father
Your
behind
Honor.
his back in his home? That's why she's
Absolutely.
making that
Even
up?
though me and
Yes,
her
sir.
haven't
All
seen
right.
each other in 2
Because
years.
it guarantees
Your Honor.
that
Got
Mr.
you.
McGinnis retains custody of the children.
I understand. All right.
She was never like the mother to me.
She picked her up by the hair and beat her up.
I have never
In the
done that.
corner.
How dare you say that,
abuse
Jim?
me. She would tell me things and take me places with her that she should have been doing with somebody else her own age.
You saying when you were a
Excuse me?
child,
When
she
I was a
exposed you
child.
to adult
Jessica,
things.
when did I have an
Exactly, Your
opportunity
Honor.
to do
And
this?
the reason why Jessica ended up with me was because she found out that that the man that Patty's married to this day, was engaged to her sister. He kicked her and her 5 kids out
my
on
God,
the
is
street
Jerry Springer
at
in
1
here
o'clock in the
somewhere?
morning.
Come on.
And then
Give me
She
a
moved
break.
in and married the guy 5 days later.
Ma'am, let's get to the lawsuit, ma'am.
Actually, he has loans that I had written to him, and on the checks I actually wrote the word loan.
Okay, good. Let's see them.
I'm also suing him for paying the taxes on the house that he owned. And
We own that house together, Your
No,
Honor.
my
We
name
both
was
lived there
never
for
on
9
the
years
home.
together.
through lies, he did obtain custody of the children. And he only did so gain temporary custody in my absence.
What
I
kind
was
of
not
lies,
even,
ma'am?
I don't even want to speculate on that. That's an ongoing
Ma'am,
case.
do you have the loan
Actually, I did
evidence?
already give him copies of
All right,
that.
this
I
is
do
it.
have the copies of my tax
And
free-
how much did you loan him, ma'am?
It was approximately $3,000.
Plaintiff Patricia Ann St. Peter brought a private investigator to court to testify against her ex-husband.
Sir, here's one. Jim McGinnis for $705.
That was to the trustee for my Chapter 13 bankruptcy.
Oh, that's
So
right.
she paid it on your behalf. All
Oh,
right.
I'm telling you, I've got all
So
kinds
that's
of
at least
receipts.
something I believe her on. Sacramento County Tax Collector. That's
Hello,
one for
that was for the
$400.
That was the
32
property
cents.
taxes on the house, Your Honor.
Why did she have to pay it all?
We bought the house together.
the
That
check
was
is
only
in her
half of the
name.
county taxes. The taxes are $900 and some odd dollars. That's the
Okay.
first
That's a
installment.
partial. There's
All right.
another
He
one
says
in there.
that
There's another
he
one
says
there.
that you were just paying your share, ma'am.
No, sir. I did
You
not
didn't have
own
to pay
that
a
house.
share?
I didn't own that house.
Your
It was
Honor.
not in my
You
name.
lived there though.
I was
For 9
only
years.
supposed to pay
Gotcha.
rent.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What else?
Rent.
Yes.
As far as that money, she didn't have a job most of the time.
Young lady, I'm not going to give a whole lot of credibility to what you say regarding your mother from here on out, so I'd like for you to have a seat. I think that you and your mother need to go and get some counseling
Counseling,
together
please.
so that you can become
We
mother
tried,
and daughter
and then that's
again.
when she told all
Your
about her
Honor,
husband.
Mr. McGinnis was there at the counseling. Your
Let's
Honor,
get to your pain and suffering, ma'am.
Your
That's the
Honor.
last part. What's that for?
Mr. McGinnis has alienated me from my children, refusing to allow me to speak to the
When
children
did that begin?
in September of 2000.
What is
I
your
am
court order?
Currently, visitation is supposed to be that I am able to speak with them on the telephone and through writing letters.
How
And
about
in-
seeing them?
3 hours a month through court-ordered
Is
supervision
that
only.
true?
Yeah.
That's true.
Why?
Because of the lies that Mr. McGinnis told, I
Okay.
did not have
Because
an attorney
CPS
to
report,
represent me.
her
3
mother's
hours.
statement,
Because what?
because of CPS, the special investigator, 3 of them, her mother's report, because of her husband, and because of what she
Stand
did to
up
my
and tell the
kids.
Okay.
Your Honor, it's all allegations.
Have a seat. We're not going to rehear that. A judge already determined. He
Your
heard
Honor.
all that. 3 hours a month you get. Do you use those 3 hours a month?
I have attempted to find. I couldn't even locate him for the longest time. He
Your
just
Honor.
disappeared.
And when you call, what happens?
that you get the this number's been disconnected.
Yes, sir.
If I may add something here.
State your name.
Don Trico, Gumshoe Detective Agency. I'm a private detective.
Okay.
Hired by the plaintiff just 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
This is a classic case of the father of the children making himself, for all intents and purposes, invisible to the mother
To
of the
avoid
children.
contact with
No,
the children.
Your Honor.
Quiet. Go ahead.
As an example of this, his cell phone is registered to a mail drop box. The mail drop box is registered to an address that he no longer lives at, but where in fact he committed elder abuse and assault and battery on an elderly
I
man
did.
that was living
You
there.
better correct it again.
I interviewed the current resident of that house, whom he lived with for a time, who told me that
My
last
son,
month,
fool.
that he said both you and your son assaulted the elderly
Really?
man.
Why didn't I go to jail for it
battered
then?
him. He told me you did go to jail.
I didn't go to jail. There's no, you could do a background check on me all you want.
Your Honor,
I'm not arrested for
the
anything.
jail just said he was released. I talked to them no more than a week ago.
Your counterclaim, sir, was for cheerleading expenses and graduation bills and
Yes, so
travel.
she could get her
Quiet.
diploma.
For travel expenses, number one, you have full custody, and that is what full custody is for. You
Your
pay
Honor,
all
I
the
didn't have
bills,
custody whenever
and
she
she
owed the
gives
bill.
you child support, and
She
you've been
doesn't.
contemptuous.
She's never paid a dime
so
of
you
child
won't talk.
support.
You won't
Would you
shut.
please
You
give
won't
this
be
to the
quiet
judge?
when I ask you to.
Okay.
As such, your case is totally dismissed. I'll
Okay.
grant you, ma'am, what you've proven today.
And I had an
$705 is your judgment.
Your Honor.
Yours is dismissed. You all have
One
a
other
good
thing.
day.
For all women that are being abused out there, don't be afraid. Get out. Go get help. Go get legal help. Don't stay with them.
Courts had already ruled she wasn't allowed to have my address. She had a contact number. She's had it since day one.
We recently spoke with plaintiff Patricia Ann St. Peter, who told us that after the case, not only did she get shared custody of her children with defendant Jimmy McGinnis, but she also reconciled with her daughter, who testified against her in court. Patricia Ann also told us that sadly, Jimmy passed away in 2014.